Oh, welcome to COS Indiana Live. There's never been a more important time in our history than now if you believe it's time to stand up and be free. Stay tuned and come back every Monday at 7 p.m. as our state director and host, Dale Parrish, present the need for self-governance. Our COS Indiana vision statement is to build a grassroots community of Hoosier citizens and legislators dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. So, take it away, Dale.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Maringo Mike, for that introduction. Yes, my name is Dale Parrish. I am the State Director for Convention of States here in Indiana. I want to welcome you to our broadcast this evening. As we do every Monday evening, we have a very special broadcast for you this evening. Let me, without hesitation, let me get into the different segments of our broadcast so you'll know what to expect this evening. The first segment that we always lead off with is what we call the topic discussion. Now, in this segment, we try. Well, we may actually discuss a particular topic. We may bring on a panel of people to discuss a particular topic. But I always like to do interviews as much as possible, and I like to interview those individuals in our leadership group here in Indiana, because we're trying to reach out to other Hoosiers in the state here, those of you that are not part of our movement here in Indiana. And so one of the main purposes of this broadcast is to reach out to you and get you involved. So I think it's important that you meet the people that are currently involved in our operation here in Indiana. Now, we'll also from time to time bring in individuals from the national level, and as much as possible, we like to get some state legislators lined up in the to be a guest on our broadcast. So, with that said, that will be our first segment this evening, the topic discussion. Then after that segment, I'll bring up my PowerPoint and we'll give you some general information about our state and our operation here in Indiana, to include some numbers on how we're doing, and as well as a few comments on some basic tenets that our program is built upon here in Indiana, as well as nationally. And let me get an individual here. Okay, I wanted to turn his audio off so you didn't hear him. But and then after the information segment, then we'll try our best to recognize those individuals that have tuned in and are viewing this evening. If you're one of those individuals, feel free to make a comment or ask a question in the chat section. We'll try our best to get to those. And then I like to wrap things up with the last segment that I call the invitation, where I'm going to ask you to join Convention of States. So that will be our, as well as kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be doing on our next broadcast. And I just want to quickly mention that right now, and I'll mention it again when I get to this final segment. But we will not be broadcasting next Monday on July 6th. We're going to take the weekend off for the July 4th holiday. So we won't be broadcasting on July 6th. We will be back again on July 13th. So with that said, tonight in our first segment, I'm going to give you some background on a very, very important award that was recently given to two individuals in our organization. And those individuals are Gary Harbaugh and George Ward. I'll be bringing them on and putting them on the screen here very shortly. But I want to give you a little background on this award. Now, this award was given to them at our leadership summit, which occurred on July 13th, on June 13th, and it was a virtual summit. We did a Zoom summit, and it went very well, as a matter of fact. But we had the president of Convention of States, Mark Meckler, was our featured speaker that evening or that morning, and we also asked Mark to be involved in the presentation of these two awards, the Challenge Coin Awards, to Gary and George. The reason being is that this award is a very special award to him, and I knew that he would be very interested in participating in that. Let me show you very quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a clip of Mark's comments at the summit that he made regarding this award and how important it is. But let me give you an idea what it looks like. It's called the Challenge Coin, and the top two pictures here are the front of the coin and the back of the coin. And this gentleman pictured in the coin is Colonel George Mason, who was credited with Article 5 of our Constitution and the need for a convention of states. So he's on the coin, and then the lower picture is a lapel pin that each individual gets that they can then use and wear on their clothing. And I think you'll see each one has his pin with him this evening. So we'll have them show you their pin. Okay. Now, what I want to do right now, let me get that back off the screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this video clip up of Mark Meckler, and we'll have him. I want him to I want to give you his comments that he made about the award. It's a very special award, and he'll give you some more information on it. So here is. Talk about the challenge coin.
Yeah, I do. So for those of you who are in the military, you know what challenge coins are. Officers tend to carry their own challenge coins around, high-ranking officers, and when they meet somebody or at a historic occasion, they tend to give those out in a handshake. That coin is passed in a handshake. It's a military tradition. And we took that tradition and brought it into Convention of States for this reason, because what you do is really important. What grassroots activists do is incredibly important. It is at the root of self-governance. It has always been at the root of self-governance. We can't pay every activist. We can't give every activist the recognition they deserve, but we aspire to. And so sometimes we see activists in Convention of States that are so far and above what anybody can ever be expected to do that they're just heroes, in my opinion. And there can never be enough recognition for heroes, in my opinion. And so what we wanted to do is create a program that was very limited and that was very special. And we minted these challenge coins. What's on the challenge coin, so you see in there, pewter challenge coin. On one side is a portrait of George Mason, obviously the founder of Article 5, the founder of our movement way back when, September 15th, 1787. The other side is the original COS logo. Interestingly, we've redesigned the logo since then, so it's really a collector's piece. This is not the first COS logo. Each challenge coin comes with a numbered certificate. There are only 300 of them that will ever be minted. The mold has been destroyed by my instruction. I think we're pushing up towards 200 that we've given out now. The challenge coins are issued with the certificate signed by me. And here's another interesting thing, signed by Michael Ferris, the co-founder of Convention of States, my co-founder. Michael's now moved on. He's the president of Alliance Defending Freedom, the largest religious liberties litigation organization in the world. There will never be another challenge coin that looks like this. There'll never be more minted. We might come up with another award, but this challenge coin, there's only going to be 300 of them. There will never be certificates signed by the two founders of Convention of States again, because Michael has moved on to other things. Still a big fan, still a great friend of mine, but not part of the Convention of States project. So this is a very special award, and I try to be involved in as many of the presentations I can, because nothing is more important to me in this than you, than the volunteers. And it also comes with a pin. And the reason we invented the pin came later, was because we found people were carrying their challenge coins around with them to show to people. And we wanted them to have something that they could wear in recognition of it. Everywhere I go, every state I go to, whenever I go to the legislature, I go to a grassroots meeting, I end up running across somebody wearing a challenge coin pin. And I know those, and I recognize them, and I look for them. And to those of you who already have challenge coins, I salute you. It's an incredible honor. To those of you who will be receiving yours today, it's my honor and my privilege to be here with you as you're awarded your challenge coins.
Thank you. All right. Well, those were the comments that Mark made at our leadership summit. And like I said, this is a very special award to him. And so I know he wanted to be involved in the presentation of this award. So without further ado, I'm going to bring our award winners up into the screen. And first, I'm bringing up Gary Harbaugh. And there he is. And now we'll bring up George. And where is George? Wouldn't you know, George is not there. Where did George go? George, where are you? I don't know. We seem to have a problem with George when where he's located. And I don't know if it's an internet thing or what, but George, can you hear us? George, can you hear us? Well, we have lost George. Now we may find he may pop up here, and if he does, I'll certainly bring up into the screen. But for right now, Gary, let's just you and I talk here. I'll save a spot down here for George, should he come on here. But Gary, congratulations on your award, by the way. And tell us a little bit about your Convention of States story, how what you've been involved in leading up to this award.
Thanks, Dale. First, I want to say that it's a great honor to receive this and to be put into the same company as many great patriots who've made enormous sacrifices for our cause. And personally, I became aware of Convention of States early on. I think I signed the petition in 2013, 2014, somewhere when it first came out. And later on, I didn't become active right away. Later on, Mark Meckler came and spoke at the library here in Fort Wayne. And after hearing him speak, I decided I wanted to become active. I thought this is something that makes sense. And I signed up to become a district captain and served in that role later as a region captain, and now I'm part of the state leadership team. And I have I've recognized that this is something that's incredibly important for our country, and so I've been more than happy to be a part of this cause, because we just believe like this is what we need in order to reclaim our country from an out of control government.
Okay. All right. Well, Gary, you're certainly deserving of the award, and like Mark said, that winners of this award have taken on different jobs in Convention of States and taken on different positions, and you certainly fit that mold. I may say that I think there's something like 5 or 6 other individuals in the state of Indiana that have earned this award, and so you and George are now part of I might call an elite group. So again, congratulations. And George, well, I think George may be trying to show up again here. I haven't seen him as yet. So, George, are you there now?
Dale, if you want, I'll take another minute while we're waiting to see if George can get connected. But I'd like to show the coin in my hand,
Okay.
kind of give you an idea of the size of it. It's actually 2 inches in diameter, has the image of George Mason on it. It's an eighth of an inch thick. It weighs an ounce and a half. So it's a very significant coin, and something that it's just an honor to have it and to be awarded this. And I know
Okay,
George
great,
feels the same
great.
way. I'm hoping he can get connected here.
Let me see if we can. Well, I'm not going to be able to get George in here tonight, so we'll maybe try and bring George on another broadcast and let him talk about it. But George, much like Gary, George has been in convention of states for about the same amount of time, and has served in different capacities, and currently serves and holds a couple different jobs actually in convention of states. So making significant contributions. So both individuals very, very, earning these awards, and sure, and been very deserving that these individuals receive this award. So we'll wrap this segment up, and thanks, Gary, for joining us. And let's move on now to our next segment, and that segment is where I want to bring up my PowerPoint, and let's get into some information about convention of states here in Indiana. And let me implement the slideshow option here so that you can see the get a full screen view of the PowerPoint that we're going to be using here. First of all, our vision statement here in Indiana. Our vision is to build a Hoosier grassroots community of citizens and legislators dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. You're going to hear us talking more and more about this role of self-governance, because this is going to play a more and more role in our efforts here in the state of Indiana. So self-governance, keep that in mind. Now we've got a couple main objectives that we are trying to achieve here in 2020, and we believe if we achieve these objectives, it'll bring us closer to realizing the vision, and that's to meet with our legislators, our state legislators, especially the legislators we call targeted legislators. Now, these are legislators, for the most part, these are new legislators. We passed the resolution in Indiana in 2016. Well, in 2018, a whole new set of legislators got elected. So we need to talk to them, because we don't know where a lot of them stand. And if they continue, or if they even support the resolution in convention of states. So getting in contact with these legislators, as well as others, and maintaining that relationship with our state legislators. The other objective is growing the grassroots. I'll give you some more information on this in a minute here. But we want to try and get to 52,000 supporters here in the state of Indiana, and we're well on our way to achieving that number. Okay, resources that we have available to us here in the state of Indiana. The main resource that we use is our national website, conventionofstates.com. The very first step that you should take as if you want to get involved in convention of states, is to go to the national website, conventionestates.com, and open an account. And that makes you a supporter, and that's a very important step. That is the first step to take. Now, embedded in that national website is our state website page, conventionestates.com/Indiana. Obviously, a more focused approach. Now, also, we're on Facebook, Convention of States Indiana. The broadcast is coming to you this evening through that Facebook page. Now, folks, I'm going to drop off here, and I got to turn off someone's audio here so that you're not hearing that individual as we're going through this. So let me get back to where I was here with our presentation. Let me see if I can get back. There we are. Okay. Now, also, well, I mentioned the Facebook page, Convention of States Indiana. Also, we have a YouTube channel, COS Indiana. This is very much an educational resource for everyone. We have narrated PowerPoints on this channel. We have recordings of these broadcasts. This broadcast will be added to there tomorrow as a recording. I might also mention that if you're interested in viewing the Leadership Summit that we had on June 13th, where Mark was featured, Mark Meckler, you can find that on our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. So the recording of that summit is also on there. We also have links on the YouTube channel to a podcast that our legislative liaison, Paul Phillips, does, and that podcast is the Free to Be Free. And he does an excellent job on these podcasts. So whenever he generates one, we put a link on there to that podcast. We're on Twitter, hashtag COS Indiana, Instagram, Convention of States Indiana, LinkedIn, many other platforms. So if you're into social media, you shouldn't have any problem finding us. Quickly, some numbers now. In 2019, we went over 41,000 supporters in the state of Indiana. Been growing at a tremendous rate here in Indiana. So we set our goal for 2020 at 52,000, and we're doing well in achieving that goal. We are right on track to achieve the 52,000 goal. So going well, support growing very well here in the state of Indiana. Now, in leadership roles, we have about 80 individuals in some form of a leadership role. About 30 in a district captain or region captain role. We have about 15 individuals in other various support type positions and roles. And then we have about 35 individuals as volunteers or other types of support type roles. So about 80 people altogether in leadership role. Now, if you want to get involved, first step, as I mentioned earlier, go to our national website, conventionestates.com, open an account, and that makes you a supporter, and that is a very, very important step to take. Now, if you would like to get more involved and maybe look at a leadership role, then click on the menu selection, Take Action, scroll down to where it says Become a Leader, and look at the different volunteer opportunities that we have available. If one's of interest to you, open it up, read about it. If you're very interested, go ahead and make application. You're not obligated in any way here. But what that does is your name then comes up on a report that I see every day, as well as a few others. And one of us then will be in contact with you to talk to you further about that. Now, I want to point out, when you do this and you look at these positions, please make note of the estimated time involved, because some of these positions require very little time, but others will require more and more time. So you know best the amount of time that you have to devote to operating in a leadership role. So please make note of that and be sure to look at that estimated time. All right. Convention of States basics, we won't go into details on this, but there are 3 basic tenets that our program nationally as well as here in Indiana are based upon. And that's the problem, the solution, and the plan. And I would refer you then to our national website, conventionofstates.com. Click on the menu selection, resources. And there's a bunch of information there that will help you understand better the 3 tenets, that what we call the basics of Convention of States. And the problem that we see with our federal government, our plan as to how to bring about our solution, and of course the solution being an Article 5 Convention of States for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution that would address the abuses that we identify in our problem, So conventionofstates.com website, click on the menu selection, resources, and learn more and more about the basics of Convention of States. All right, great. Let me then hide that, and here I am back. Let's look now, and let's try to see if we can identify some of our viewers this evening. And I see a gentleman here, Jeremy Gully. Let me show Jeremy. I won't be able to get, probably won't be able to get everything on here, but Jeremy, what relevance does Article 5 have in the present national divide, red and blue states, as the media has reported? What good does Article, well, what good is this is what it's all about, quite honestly. And what you're seeing, I think, in our country today, well, a matter of fact, let me, rather than me saying a word here, I see Gary has commented on your question, and let me see what Gary says here. Convention of States is not a red or blue issue. It is about the states reasserting limits on the exercise of federal power. So I'll let it go at that. And I see Gary has even commented a little further. It's also about having the states take more responsibility rather than always looking to Washington to fix every problem they see. So Gary makes some good comments there. And what it comes down to basically is we the people taking more control of what happens in our federal government, and not only the federal government, but state and local. So that's where self-governance comes into play. But we think that Article 5 is the solution to at the federal level to for us to take more control of our federal government. So thanks, Jeremy, for your question. And I think I see George was even wanted to comment on Jeremy's question. We want to regain state sovereignty from the overreach of federal. Our petition covers term limits to Congress and other federal officials, fiscal responsibility, and reign in power and jurisdiction of federal government, like in the Commerce Clause. So, George, thank you for your comment there. And okay, I think that pretty well does it for our viewers this evening. So I would like to now close things up this evening, and let me bring up my favorite quote that I always like to close with. But first of all, before we close out this evening, let me mention as I stated earlier this evening in our broadcast, that we will not be broadcasting next Monday evening on July 6th. We're going to take the weekend off due to the July 4th holiday, but we will be back on July 13th. And we will be bringing back our super volunteer, Debbie Stewart, who will be presenting another chapter of constitutional literacy. Debbie's been doing this for some months now with us on this broadcast, and we'll be bringing her on, quite honestly, for a number of more months. She'll be here with us on July 13th, as I said, for another chapter of constitutional literacy. I want to wrap things up this evening with just a comment on a quote from Mark Meckler. And I've always liked this quote, and this quote was that, there's a fundamental question facing us here in this country, and it's even more evident today in today's world. But the question is not what we should do. The question is who decides. And ladies and gentlemen, I think it's becoming more and more evident that we, the people, need to get more involved in who decides in our country. And not only at the federal level, but this also applies at the state and even the local level. I've heard it said, and I'm believing it more and more every day, that we are in a civil war in this country. It's more like a culture war. And ladies and gentlemen, if we don't get involved, and if we don't exercise our power as we the people, we stand to lose this war, this culture war. And I think I think Ewan would agree that we have to win this war. And I believe Convention of States is certainly going to be a part of this solution. We believe it is, and certainly exercising our constitutional right as self-governance is also going to be necessary to win this war. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up this evening. We went a few minutes over, but that's okay. Once again, won't be with you next Monday evening, but we will be returning on July 13th for another chapter of constitutional literacy. So with that said, everyone, good night and have a good evening.